I mean, my cold open, which I was like, I don't know if anyone has a cold open since this is kind of on the fly, was...
What's your cold open?
What's your drink of choice?
Oh, when you say drink, like, do you mean alcoholic beverage or like anything that I put in my mouth that it's a liquid?
Let's do both.
Why not both? I was really just going for the meme of it all.
Because there's like go-to at the bar, but then there's a favorite drink that like if it's there, I'm gonna get it. You know.
As of late for me, it's a spicy margarita. Don't matter what other flavorings are in
that's
there.
A good
but a spicy
It's a margarita with jalapeno.
Sometimes it's Tabasco.
Jalapeno.
Frank made me one with Tabasco.
Tabasco.
Sounds like it'd be habanero.
Honey habanero?
You know what I had? In LA? I had a spicy paloma. That shit was so good. It was a spicy frozen paloma.
I had all those ones. I had Sazeracs everywhere. And I also had a French gimlet. That was a vibe. That was a nice vibe for me. It was it was like Franklin Mortgage Investment Company light situation for me.
Shout out to Philadelphia. What's up?
Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Mullins.
I'm like, what is that? It sounded so long and complicated.
It was a speakeasy that Antonio loved.
I did adore
Antonio
it.
do love speakeasies. That's how he found the candle place today.
I love that. Oh, so my follow-up question was going to be, speaking of candles, what would be your candle? Like, what would be in your, like an Antonio candle? What would be in a Dahlia candle?
I'm still fine.
They could be real scents or you know.
I also love that we're ignoring the other question is like, what other liquid beverage? We don't even have to answer that because this isn't even
always. Iced coffee always.
Water.
Seltzer. There we go. Now, anyway, the candle.
Anyways, back to what's in my candle.
What's in your candle?
That's what
Capital One sponsor us.
Capital One maybe don't.
Actually, you know what?
Sponsor us.
Capital One should court like small businesses and be like, "What's in your?" and then product name.
Are we a small business?
We are.
What's in your podcast?
What's in your loser? Ew.
What's in your candle, man?
What's in your candle, Antonio? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh my god,
no,
guys!
Not flavor. You don't need candles. Okay, let's we can do it for you.
Okay.
How about we
Oh my god.
an Antonio
Okay.
candle?
You eat.
Okay, ready?
You each get to choose like 2 ingredients of this candle.
Okay, 2 ingredients.
Yes.
Tobacco. Tobacco and the smell of absinthe for me.
Tobacco and absinthe. Okay.
What about you?
If I had to pick two scents for Antonio, I would say. So I don't know if there even is like a bourbon-y scent.
People do that. People
scent?
do. They do
People
bourbon-y
bourbon.
scents. In fact, the bee's knees says bourbon on here. Honey bourbon, sweet tobacco, and amber. There's one other thing that I'd like you guys to say, but I'll leave it to you to find it out.
I want to say like bourbon and like, is sandalwood too off?
That's not terrible. No, that's not terrible at all. I like a good sandalwood.
You smell like a 67-year-old man.
I was hoping someone would say coffee.
That's I was gonna say coffee, but I'm
coffee.
like, is bourbon and coffee? Does that goes together?
Espresso bourbon. Espresso bourbon. I actually had a drink.
Espresso bourbon, tobacco. Those would be the 3.
Yeah, and then you'd call it the
roll back tape. Roll back
Americano.
tape. Roll back tape. Did you say espresso? With the X?
Yes.
Sorry, coffee.
Yes.
I'm not having this conversation. I said espresso. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up and drink your water.
Anyway, okay, let's do Dahlia.
What's in my candle?
Can I put some lavender in there? Or lilacs. Actually, I like lilacs a lot better. I like the smell. I like lilacs and I like pomegranate. I like pomegranate and lilacs together so far.
Now I'm putting some lime in there because of your spicy margarita.
A
little citrusy.
And a little bit of maybe some chili pepper. A little bit of tahini.
I would you know what? A margarita in a candle.
A margarita with lilacs and what did I say? Pomegranate lilac margarita.
Boom. Ketzel. What's in your candle?
What's in my candle?
A little bit of funk. A little funk.
Chicken parm.
Tonka
I'm
bean.
just kidding.
A chicken parm candle.
Ketzel, you give me jasmine scent flavors, something very like comfy and nice. Delicate.
Is tonka bean? You know what? I need to remember what tonka bean really smells like.
The
But
fuck's a
also-
tonka bean?
The duality of jasmine, and then I would say some sort of like wood. Is
Mhm.
mahogany a thing?
A little bit of masculine,
Palo
a
Santo.
little bit of feminine.
Palo
Yes.
Santo. Palo Santo.
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo is
Nope.
definitely going to be your NB energy.
I do like the chicken parm idea. let's go back to that one. Thank you for your serious answers, but I do like the idea of a chicken parm candle.
That's exactly the ridiculous answer that you wanted.
I like the serious answer. I do feel like it's correct. I like the idea of mixing the mask and the femme together. Now, what do we do for Sky?
She definitely gets amber in her candle.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like
A
the
deep,
idea of some
rich
lime,
scent.
amber and lime. Does that go together? I like the idea of some lime in there. There's a couple of perfumes, or at least one perfume I can think of, or cologne, I should say, that adds pineapple. Do we like the idea of pineapple?
I feel like that's unexpected and fun.
Sky's unexpected and fun.
She is.
It also has to be a mini candle, though.
Thank you. It has to be a tea candle. It has to be a tea light candle.
It's a tea, it's a tea light.
Candle.
Well, this was cute.
This is cute.
Exquisite.
Exquisitely so.
Stunning.
Hey y'all, welcome to Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. My name's Dahlia.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Ketzel.
And Sky is
This
absent
guy's not
today.
here.
We should have done a bit. Should one have done
What's
a
the
bit?
excuse today?
No. There's really not an excuse. Everyone's been
Lassie
kind
could
of like,
not fetch her from down the well. The end.
oh,
failed to
where is it,
tell
Lassie?
us.
There's a child down the
Man.
well.
And then there's a turn to the ring.
They're gonna crawl out of a fucking well.
She's
to kill
gonna
us
she's gonna come and kill us
after
in the last 3 minutes of this.
maybe so.
Anyway,
Anyway,
this guy's not here.
And the rest of us are just 3 Academy students who watch movies that everyone else has watched, except one of us is a loser who hasn't. Today we're watching a movie that had everyone saying, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Dead Poets Society, released in 1989, directed by Peter Weir. And today's loser is everyone.
all of us.
Everyone.
Celebrate good times.
Come
Come
on.
on.
Wait, does that mean that Sky saw this movie?
No, Sky hadn't
No,
seen
we
this
were
But
gonna.
Oh,
this is what happened for
dang.
Die Hard.
We did the same thing with Die
Oh.
Hard.
That's so exciting. Look at us being losers all together. It's not just me.
So,
happy.
cute.
So cute.
So, why did we pick Dead Poet Society?
Fall vibes, pumpkin pie size season.
It's fall, y'all.
Apparently.
I guess.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
fall.
that's what I'm gathering off of this beautiful, beautiful summary left to us.
The
Like a
leaves
last will
are
and
falling
testament.
off the trees. The last World Testament time.
All the leaves are brown.
And the skies are gray.
Thank you.
And the skies are gray.
All the leaves are.
We're never gonna end this. Okay, it's fall. It's fall vibes, and apparently it's on a list of 30 cozy films to watch this autumn from iNews. So happy Thanksgiving! Ah.
Yeah. So cozy movie. It's also like one of those movies that like everyone like. It's one of the famous movies that like none of us have seen. Oh, just I guess the conceit of this podcast, but it's one of the big movies. No.
Yeah, I feel like it's on that list of 100 films that you should see for iconic cinema. And
Is it?
Yeah.
clearly, we all missed the mark on that one.
Yeah. We surely did.
I literally know nothing about this movie.
But we'll get to that later. Apparently, oh wait, I don't know why I said apparently. Second point is that we all have an English teacher among us. Some more literally than others.
Like me, who has my friend Ketzel.
And me, who is me.
An actual English
And who's
teacher.
literally a teacher.
What do you like about
that-
teaching English?
It's not math. So Moving on.
In a separate lifetime, I would have been a math teacher, and we would have worked at the same school.
You wanted to be.
I did want to be a math teacher.
Oh my god.
There was a big
That's
part of like
I never
me
knew
that wanted to do that. Oh yeah, we had
s-
this amazing math teacher in the 8th grade.
I still think you could be a math teacher.
I still think so too. It's not exactly. It's not a dead end career or anything like that. Like
No,
you can always
People do
decide.
career changes all the time.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there are lots of people who want to be teachers. Maybe like let's settle down, go back to school, do like just teach math.
Yeah.
Substitute teaching.
I know. Also, like reading and writing were always my favorite subjects. Always what I was good at, and I was an English major in college too. So,
Dude, and you missed this
This
movie?
This is not a podcast
Right?
of truth, guys. They can't read.
Forget the degrees. Let me stuff the degrees under the bed. I can't read.
Imposter.
Joke.
Imposter.
Deception.
That's sus. We had an Among Us
Also,
discussion yesterday.
shut the fuck. Yeah, we did. We did.
Wow.
Have
Okay.
thought
Once
that
I say
game
it's
was
Among
dead
Us,
and
you're just
gone.
like, not in Ketzel's art.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this movie gave us Robin Williams, rest in peace, who was amazing. And Sky did text me to tell everyone that today is Ethan Hawke's birthday. So happy birthday, King.
Today?
Is today your birthday? You
On day of
Scorpio
recording.
king?
Day of recording.
It is November 6th
So-
of the year of our Lord Jesus 2022. And he, doesn't matter what age he is, still looks good.
I've been warming up to him more and more because I used to be like, "Bleh." But now I'm like, okay.
I think I got a
Finally.
little cold after Black Phone. I was like, don't like that. Do not like.
Monsieur you guys weren't there, but Monsieur Grabby was all over the maze. He was doing that sitting. He was sitting in the seat, like in the movie,
Mm-mm.
and he gets up and goes after you.
Oh,
and I was
nope.
like,
Couldn't
I
be
didn't
me.
see him. I was like, I had turned to talk to Sky, and then when I looked up, he was charging towards me. He's like with his shirt open.
Do you want to see
Um,
my dad bod? Yes.
No,
Was it a dad bod?
it was a dad bod. They cast it accordingly.
And that's
Crazy.
on that.
That's that.
And that's that on that, my
And
guys.
Point D. I want to know why everyone stands on their desk at some point and say, "Oh, Captain, my captain."
That truly is something I also
I now
don't
know
think
one
I
thing
know.
about this movie.
I think I know, but like,
I
I'm
think
a
so,
loser
too.
here, so I don't really know anything, do I?
Hi, I'm just
Which let's
here. I'm just
let's
here.
get into that. What do we know? So Antonio knows nothing.
I know
So
that
great.
people stand on their desks.
As of 5 seconds ago. What do you know, Dahlia?
Thank you for that, Senor David Disturbed. And the evil goats
There's a
of the seventh ring of hell.
Thank you. It's one of the
So
weird things I'm good at.
One of like two things. Oh my
I'm
god!
good at.
I can't think of number two.
I grew up around goats.
Is that a fact?
Are you
Yeah, my
you-
uncle.
a goat whisperer?
Okay, two things. One, yes, my uncles had goats, so we would go a lot to like in Vegas, and we would go, and I would be
To their
amongst
farm.
the goats. Alternatively, you can choose to believe that I was raised in the wild amongst goats.
I was gators. You were goats.
Gators and Goats, baby. That's the name of our side podcast.
Gators and goats. Gators and goats. That's your theme
Gators and
song. You're
goats.
welcome. You can
Thank
clip
you.
that for yourselves for a later time. What do I know about this movie? They stand on their desks at some point. A teacher. I feel like this is the wrong movie. It probably is because I think it's Matt Damon with the janitor, and he's smart. That's Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, that's Good Will Hunting, which I've also never seen. And
Never
I think is on the
seen
list.
it. Nope.
They're similar flavors.
And then they're students, and then I think they don't believe in themselves, and then they do, and I might be grasping at straws.
What year was this released? 1989? 89. Okay.
89.
So for some reason I thought Dead Poet Society was that one with what's his name? Dane DeHaan and Daniel Radcliffe. Is that a movie? Are they
The fuck?
Is that a movie where are they in a movie together?
I'm about to look it up for you.
That is a
And
very you
what is
answer.
that?
Why did that come to thought? Is it?
No,
what's
that's
the
literally
subject
what I
matter?
thought. That's what I thought Dead Poet Society was.
It's called Kill Your Darlings,
That's called Kill Your Darlings. Oh,
2013.
wow.
Which I guess also has to do with, writing. Well, Daniel Radcliffe's playing Alan Ginsberg. So also English. It's related to English.
It's in English. It's like an English, like, school movie, I guess. So I thought that this was this, and I didn't even know this movie existed, honestly.
Oh, I know
Ooh.
this because I know that scene exactly like you of them standing up on the desk, which I think it's like, yes, they don't believe in themselves. And I think at some point, Robin Williams has to leave. He's the teacher. I don't know, temporarily or permanently, and then they do the standing on the desk thing. I think that's it, and I don't know anything else. There was a string of movies of like teachers going into inner city youth and making them believe in each other.
Hilary
But
Swank,
this was an
right?
inner city youth. Yeah, Hilary Swank. But this was an inner city youth, I believe. I think these are some white prep boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this looks like private
I
school
also believe
nonsense.
Let's continue.
The Rotten Tomato score is 84%, audience 92, and Google users 84. So this is a very good movie according to the public.
Yes,
It's pretty
this is
fresh.
a high B. This is high B for highbrow.
Hi bald, hi B.
Hi, better than thou. Because I feel like people
Hi,
who
gay.
watch this movie are like, better than thou. Oh, you don't know about Dead Poet
Yeah,
Society?
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why we didn't watch it.
It's like, oh, sorry, I'm not educated like you.
I don't know
But
about y'all.
what if it's like,
I
okay, let me
literally
have,
was
like-
reading Capote and Hemingway on my vacation.
and I'm just saying,
Yeah.
based on that conversation,
Racist
Antonio,
and misogynist.
I know, terrible.
Like-
it was so bad.
what if this is a red flag movie? Like, what if it's a secret red
What
flag
if?
movie? I'm just having some assumptions
Oh
right
my
now
God.
as I go into this.
We'll see. We shall see. That's a hot take.
Wait.
We'll see.
For future, for foreshadowing, when we watch Breakfast at Tiffany's, I want you guys to think about whether or not it's a low-key red flag movie. Just sit on it for a little while.
Yes, I would like
And then I'm going to tell
thank
you some stuff.
Is it because you watched it?
No, yeah, I've watched it a long
He
time
read the
ago.
book.
And then
then
I
he
read
also
the book.
read the
Exactly.
film.
Red flag because you watched it.
No, I just want to know. Well, I do like it. I just want to know if it's a red flag. If you like it.
Oh, I love this hot take moment. It's been a while since we had some hot takes, and they're coming out, flying out the
coming out hot.
oven.
They're
Piping
coming
hot.
out and they are takes.
And they are hot.
And they're
Are they hot?
and fresh?
And ready.
They're hot and ready.
But are they good?
They
They're
are.
hot and they're ready. It,
That doesn't matter. It's hot and it's ready and it is good.
Wait, did we reference that on the pod? Like early
Yes, we
on?
did.
We
We
did? Oh my
sure
god, I'm so
have,
ready.
yeah.
I'm so ready for that to come back. Let's order Little Caesars.
I just ordered chicken parmesan. I can't.
you can order Little Caesars and tell us how much you love it.
No, I actually
love
you
Little
know
Caesars.
how
I'm
I
gonna get
feel
Little
about.
Caesars later this week.
All right. The next time we record,
Who's-
maybe we'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Yes. But who's in this film?
Oh, the
Go
genie.
ahead, Antonio.
The genie from a little film called Aladdin. Robin Williams. Our favorite MI6 agent, Ethan Hawke.
Love you.
And I don't know this person. Robert Sean Leonard. Red flag.
That's 3 first names.
Right. Red flag.
That's a
We
serial
have-
You're not
killer
allowed
name.
to have them.
Followed by Robert Sean Leonard, Josh Charles,
Also 2 first names, not allowed.
and rounding out our cast, someone by the name of Gail Hansen.
Okay, that's allowed.
I mean,
I don't know any of these people except for the first two. So
The first
that
two are the
tells me
big
Yeah,
ones.
same.
that tells me that this is maybe a little low budget, lovely little indie film, love letter to all English teachers everywhere.
I
don't-
better be loved.
Yeah.
If you don't feel loved by the end of this movie,
We'll see.
red flag.
What are your guys' expectations?
I I don't know. When it comes to me, I kind of feel like older movies I just don't gravitate towards as much, with like the singular exception of the one I was just talking about.
I was gonna say Breakfast at Tiffany's.
But like all the other ones, I'm just like, okay, all in a day.
My expectations, I mean, I think I'm gonna like it. It is a 2-hour film, so we did see the time.
It is a 2-hour film.
And I don't know how I feel about that, because like sometimes you can tell the story so good in 2 hours that it's not enough, but also there's a lot of times where it's 2 hours and it's like, mama, that was too much.
That was too long. I could think of a couple of movies that are like that. Just like, we could have probably, shortened this a little bit, just a tiny bit, just a little bit.
And
but
a little
so
trimming.
I know that I don't really know anything about this movie, but I have a feeling that it might run long for me, but I'm going to try to go in there with no expectations of that, but I just have an inkling, and I will leave it at that.
I feel like my expectations should be higher based on the scores, but it's not, I guess, because it's such a hype movie that I'm afraid I'm just going to go in with no expectations.
Huh. I don't know. I'm just kind of here for the vibes. You know how I love my high concept movies. So I just don't know if this is this good because it's just a touchy-feely movie, or is this good because it's like...
Probably.
Damn it.
We'll see.
Maybe we will
we'll
see.
find out.
Honestly, you know what? The name for itself is kind of nice. I will say that. We don't talk about like the titles of movies quite as much, but like Dead Poet Society, that like strikes a chord sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little edgy,
name.
like a
She's
bad
edgy.
student turned good.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's the power of words.
I'm still negative,
The power
but I'm learning.
of poets.
Maybe I'll turn this bourbon into a hot toddy. I've been thinking about it this whole time.
And while Antonio does that, let's go watch this
Take
film.
off your pants.
I already took off my pants.
Oh. No, I want the audience members to take off your pants.
Oh, you guys should join us in taking your
and
pants
stick
off.
around.
All right, guys.
It's liberating.
It's not sexual at all.
It might be. Okay, bye.
Bye. And we're live. Hi. We're all drained.
Well,
somehow we're gonna muster some energy to get through this because wow.
Oof.
If
Let me
you
just start, guys. Let me just let everyone know that I cried twice during this movie.
So what was the first time?
Okay, we'll go through the summary, and I'll let you.
Okay.
I'll be like, that is
Okay.
where Antonio broke down the first time because that was sad.
Before we
immediate reactions.
We'll go for
Oh,
immediate
go.
reactions.
I just want to say that if you had told me, that I would be sobbing through "Oh Captain, My Captain" and I thought it was like the corniest fucking scene. If you had told me that I would have been ugly sobbing throughout it, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. "Oh Captain, My Captain."
You know what's so weird? Okay, so Captain, My Captain that's from something, right?
It's a Walt Whitman piece, I believe.
It's Whitman. Okay, because it's also from, or not also from, but the first time I actually ever heard it was in Firefly Serenity or Firefly the show.
Nerd.
Right, I know.
Always.
And Kaylee's like, Captain,
Nerd
my
alert.
captain. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I actually have a Firefly, like, tattoo. And so I was like, oh, that must be from something or another. And it was also referenced here. So I got really confused. And I was like, where is it really from?
It's Walt Whitman.
Can I be honest? I never knew that was a Firefly tattoo. Antonio.
Yeah.
That was like a lightsaber hilt.
Hello.
This
A
whole
lightsaber?
time.
What
A
a weird
lightsaber
one.
hilt.
Someone take a screenshot. 'Cause
I'll,
We'll add that.
I'll do. Oh, I think
Got it. Can your computer handle it?
Got it. Yeah, we got it.
But also, so like I had heard Captain, My Captain, and then you guys said it earlier, and I was like, okay, whatever. Sad. Am
quite
sad.
upsetting.
Yeah,
Quite upsetting, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's the consensus with the whole group of immediate reactions. That was a lot more sad than we thought it was going to be. My face feels kind of crusty from the tears that I cried that ran down my face.
That was a lot. That was a lot more than I was expecting. You know what?
So
I think
much
that was
more
good.
touching. Is it just Robin Williams?
I think
Does he just have that sauce?
he is so magnetic, but I think it's not just him being magnetic, but also like the boys themselves they were just lads. They were just friends, and they were also like Ethan was a great actor. Like Neil was a great actor.
They were gonna be
oh
dumb
my gosh.
shit.
So
the whole
They're
time.
not. They had layers, even though
And
they're assholes.
they turned it around. Yes, they surprised me. They turned it around. I'm like, oh my god.
Robert Sean
I'm
Leonard.
rooting for these boys.
I know where he's from.
That's Neil,
I figured
right?
it out. Yeah, Neil.
I'm sorry we made fun
Neil.
of your name.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. You're an
there
excellent
will be-
actor.
There will be nothing but respect for your name once I figured out who you were. I was like so confused. I was like, I know him from somewhere. Where do I know him from? He's in House MD, like the earlier seasons of the openings. He's the human like foil for a House's like robotic assholishness.
I didn't watch House, but I did look him up, and he's like in a lot of things. It seems.
I
what
love his
else?
eyebrows.
Yeah, he had good eyebrows.
Oh, good eyebrows.
Does that go
Good
into
eyebrows.
costume? Ming?
Makeup, costume, makeup.
It's a choice.
Hey.
All right, yeah, let's get into this, guys.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the moments that all this to say. Immediately, we're all very touched. And we're gonna explain to you why.
This is a very touching movie.
Mm-hmm. And not just in a like cheesy. I didn't think in a cheesy way. It gripped me.
I was emotionally distraught by the end. So, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
they
that.
really turned
Also,
us.
which, like, I know it's not a main focus, and at no point does anyone ever actually say it or do anything about it. Very queer.
Very queer. Very queer.
Super queer. Or at least there's a queer storyline. There's definitely a queer storyline.
I think that's why it hit us too.
Very undertones for sure. I think if you watch this movie, you certainly have to have like a queer lens with it, because like that's what makes it more impactful. Just the beautiful relationship between two men, and like
boys.
It didn't ever get like sexual. Well, yeah, two boys.
It didn't even get romantic.
But it added a
no,
weight
it was
to
just so touching, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, and it happened in different ways with different boys, but for the two main character guys, for
just
sure.
the intimacy amongst the young boys, or like these young men, what are they, like fucking 16, 17? Is just very touching.
This is like prep school.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very touching, especially the way like Neil handled like Todd's insecurities and everything like that. It was a very touching movie, and if you watch it with a queer lens, it's just that much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. My God, we're really gonna be out of here being like, this is the film. This is the film.
I can see why this is a movie for intellectuals. Like, I can see why. And also for anybody who loves English literature, poetry. Like, it's certainly, I thought it was going to be all like blah, like, oh, they're going to call it Dead Poet Society. It's going to be like not deep at all. It's going to be some sort of bullshit, but it got very deep and very real, and it was impactful for sure. But let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. So, it's apparently 1959, which I didn't realize till the middle of the movie. But it's 1959.
Yeah, time frame was a bit much.
Hey, they did say it right at the beginning of the film. That guy was talking up on the stage, and he's like 100 years ago in 1859, and I'm like,
you wanted me to do
years
math?
later is 1959.
You wanted me to do math?
That's simple math, though. Like,
Basic arithmetic for me right now? No.
Absolutely not. For me, anytime? No.
I was capable at the beginning of the movie. Anyway, 1959.
So we have Todd Anderson, who is Ethan Hawke. In one of his earliest roles, I looked this up. This is his like breakthrough role, and it was only his third role ever in like anything.
Wow.
So he's a baby. He's a baby. Anyway, he is beginning his junior year at this all-male prep school called Welton.
Welton.
I'm like
Welton.
Academy.
Welton, Helton. Helton Academy.
Helton Academy, which is an all-male prep school in Vermont. So super waspy. Very waspy.
Oh, it was in Vermont.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
That
That's
makes
where
so
all the
much
gays
sense.
go. Makes so much sense.
Like, okay. That is so true. But also, I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch for my first job ever. And it was very East Coast, waspy, preppy.
Very this.
And so all of that stuff just started, like, coming back to me. It's all coming back to me. Like, all the posters and shit that I saw on the walls. That's why I straight up went to, like, rugby and rowing and shit. And I'm just like, that's some fucking Abercrombie and Fitch shit.
Could you imagine growing up there? Ugh.
No.
No, I was Mexican and poor.
And none of us are white men.
None of us are white.
None of us are one white and two men. Well, one of us is a man, but not a white man.
God, you're so dumb sometimes. Not today. Put it in a box for later.
So he arrives. He's a very shy kid, and he is roomed with Neil Perry, who is our resident theater gay.
He's not even resident theater gay until like later on.
Yeah, later on, but he's a very, very kind boy.
He's a very kind soul, and he just wants to include Todd and just
and
like
his
be
friends
chill with
and
him.
stuff. So he makes them meet his squad because he's like, what I love about Neil is that whenever Todd wants to have a quiet moment, he's like, okay, shoot yourself. And then he tries to bring him out of his shell when he can. He's just a good friend, good guy.
He's just a good person.
He's such a good person.
God, that did him so bad.
It's fucking bullshit.
It's such fucking bullshit. Oh my god.
And we meet his squad of ragtag bunch of wasp misfits, and here are the names, which are all something.
Every single letter of the alphabet.
A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog-esque situation, including characters such as named Knox Overstreet, Richard Cameron, Stephen Meeks, Gerard Pitts, and Charlie Dalton.
My God.
Also known as, later, Nuwanda.
Which I have questions about.
I'm so confused, but I don't care.
I was like, wow, okay. I would rate these names a 9 out of 10 for ridiculousness. I think
9 red flags out of
Charlie,
10.
Yeah.
If someone came up to me and told me their name was any of these situations, I'd be like, red flag.
Red Flag City.
You would, and then we have characters like Chet and stuff. You would love a Chad though, or you once in your life would like a Chad.
That was Chet.
There was a Chet and a Chad, I think.
Yes.
There was a Chad.
Who was
somewhere.
Chad?
That's just a random Chad.
I have no idea. Some off-screen bitch.
Off-screen bitch
but
Chad.
An off-screen.
Okay.
Off-screen Chad.
Anywho, the teacher, John Keating, who is Robin Williams, just perfect. We'll just say that up front. Beautiful, beautiful. He's the new English teacher, and he's like not like other teachers. He's like a cool teacher, and
Thank
he
you.
straight up brings. That's Quetzal. He straight up brings the lovely tired phrase "carpe diem." Carpe diem, fools.
Carpe diem, bitch.
Everybody fucking loves it. They eat that up with a spoon. So they have a lot of fun lessons with this new teacher, which include standing on desks, ripping out intros to stupid poetry books, teaching them to be themselves, and doing poetry out loud. This was a great Eton scene and was marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Like, they were, I don't know if you guys noticed, and maybe, I don't think we have, like, a Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
The camera work? The camera work in this scene?
The camera work in that moment? Yeah.
The spinning.
So
and it happened more than once.
It did.
But it was gorgeous.
Because he had all the boys try to, do poetry reading out loud, and Ethan is not very confident in reading. And eventually he's able to grasp that beautiful poetry out of him, and what a scene. What a scene.
What a beautiful poem. I was like, oh my god, I would hate to have a
beautiful.
blanket that would not, warm up my feet. I'd hate it.
You're right, Ethan
I'd
Hawke.
die.
It's a feeling everybody could relate to. But
Absolutely.
anyway, administration fucking hates Robin Williams, as a teacher. John Keating, you're out. That's what they say. And then he also taught us the lesson of yapping. Yap.
Yop!
Yup! Which is about
Yup.
letting out your barbaric sound. out into the world, which is yapping. So to really get the gravity of standing on desks later, the reason he has him stand on desks is to get a new perspective. He's very an unconventional teacher. Wants to teach them to like seize the day, make their own mark, see things from a different view. Because this school is very traditional, very old school.
Right.
So he's
Very regimented.
yes, super regimented. So
Yeah.
Keating comes in and it's like nothing these boys have ever experienced before.
Truly. I mean, I would also like to say, like, at the beginning, we have all this, like, Scottish bagpipe music happening. So, yeah, truly tradition in the sense that it came from overseas, because this is, like, a very ingrained in the UK type of thing, like, old, rich, money type of stuff, the honor to be here. However, it's in Vermont in the United States. And I don't know, sometimes the United States be a little liberal, and they're like, I just want to go to a play and be an actor. Isn't that just so cool? And they're like, no, you have to go to Harvard and Yale. Like, that's your only choices here.
Yeah, all the
And
parents.
that's a bit rough.
All the parents are really hard on these boys because this is obviously a very like elite institution. So there's all these pressures of them being there, but also them just being teenage boys. They just want to smoke and talk about girls and do their thing and be stupid. But
They never get to be passionate.
yeah,
It's not allowed.
I thought this movie would make me be inspired about teaching, but TBH, it just inspired me about my English major life, about being like going out into the woods and reading poetry so we could hear how the verses sound out loud, like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, damn, poetry's good. I had 2 poetry classes
It's
and they
good
were
for the
beautiful.
soul.
But I miss that. And Robin Williams instilled that love in me again.
Beautiful man. Okay. So, the gang learns about the Dead Poets Society, which Keating was in, and they just decide to restart it. And this was really funny because he's like, oh my god, yeah, that is me in the yearbook, which they call an annual, which is bizarre. But he's like, yeah, that's me. And then they're like, so it's the Dead Poets Society. And then he's like, you don't want to know. And then he proceeds to tell them anyway. And then he's like, we used to meet in this cave on the outskirts. Anyway, burn this book. Goodbye. And I'm like, how am I? How am I supposed to respond to that?
How spooky. It's like
Yes,
the
I am
burn
gonna
book all
restart
over
the
again.
club.
Yes, I will be looking
But
into
they-
that. Thank you.
So the Dead Poets Society, it becomes the DPS, the Next Generation.
Just like Degrassi.
Oh, I for some reason immediately went to Star Trek.
Is it also Star Trek?
I also went to Star Trek, even though I'd never seen any of it.
I've never seen Degrassi.
I didn't know Degrassi did the Next Generation.
That's the one Drake was
Like-
in.
Me neither.
That's what it was
Wheelchair
called?
Drake?
Degrassi, the Next Generation?
I'm pretty sure. Yo, Canadians, don't come at me.
Whoa.
I don't think we have any Canadian listeners, but we do. Yep, no, I'm right. Canadians love me. Canadian listeners, come at me. Yeah, Drake was in this. He was Jimmy. Jimmy got
That
shot.
was the
don't
same
wanna
one
live with
with
that
like
information.
I did actually used to watch, of all the things that I used to watch, Degrassi, and it must have been the Next Generation was one of them.
Yeah, because it started 2001, so that would have come at you. Anger youth.
Wowzers.
You
Is
watched
that when Nina
Degrassi?
Dobrev joined?
Yeah, I watched Degrassi a little bit. Degrassi, my bad. This was-
Degrassi.
Degrassi.
Is it with an
Degrassi.
X? Is it with an X in there?
Degrassi.
Degrassi. Nina
Oh, Lord.
is Canadian?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's in it.
Anyway.
I didn't watch those kind of like Dawson Creek, like youth.
Oh, I did
things.
Dawson Creek a little bit too.
What's the
One
other
Tree
one?
Hill was probably
One
the
Tree
bigger
Hill.
one.
There we go. I don't watch that.
The OC was not one that I had seen. Like at all.
Were you living out your fantasy?
Like on MTV.
Where?
Like your teenage fantasy of like all this drama and all this excess. I don't know what these shows were about.
I
They're
wasn't
like
living it out.
escapism.
Honestly, it was more escapism. It was mostly just, it was like reading fanfic out loud, like fanfic, but real life fanfic. Because, like, I don't think we had a ton of drama in high school. I'm not saying we didn't have any, but it wasn't that big of a deal, like, for a lot of it.
No.
Like, it wasn't that deep, fam.
Not the way that the shows made it out.
That-
I mean, Dahlia, I don't know your high school drama, but...
I think the only drama that I ever experienced was I was in the 9th grade, and this couple, they were like scene kids, had sex in the library.
That's
and then
pretty
they got
standard.
expelled.
That's standard, yeah. We had an elevator in our
pretty
school
standard.
that we weren't allowed to use because people would have sex in it.
That's not why.
Oh.
But
Well, that was the reason I was told. What was why?
mostly it was only for like handicapped
Yeah,
usage only.
and people
you
use it
weren't
to have
supposed to-
sex.
Yeah, but no, the big one was like literally they stationed a hall monitor there because it was only for like handicapped.
As it should be.
even the
absolutely.
But that wasn't the reason why you were like having sex in the elevator was not a reason why they stopped anything. That you just literally were never allowed on there. Way back even when it started.
Apparently, people were fucking in there.
Can I?
That sounds about right. People were also blowing each other in classrooms whenever teachers weren't around. That was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Also, because my sound is coming out like it's going, and I can hear what you guys are saying, but it's very like. Can I leave and come back really
sure.
quick?
Yeah.
To the next thing.
Okay, so Keating is teaching them to believe in themselves. So because of this, one of the boys, Knox, pursues this girl, which is a whole side plot that I don't particularly care for, but whatever. But also encourages Neil to get into acting and joins the play because now they're all believing in themselves and seizing the day. Carpe diem.
Yes.
Yup.
Yup.
Yup. Anyway, so all the boys are learning to believe in themselves. Ethan's talking more. I should call him by his character name. Todd. Todd's, fitting in with
Todd
the
is
boys.
talking more.
They've started the
so-
society in the cave, so the boys are bonding and but not taking it seriously, but then they actually, they're living poetry in their own weird way. Meek raps,
I love
and that was great.
transition. Yeah, I love that transition because suddenly they were like, I'm not sure what I need to do, but then it transformed into all these feelings and emotion, and it became so freeing. It was so wonderful and lovely. And then I think in between here is that monologue that I really liked that I didn't take any favorite quotes from there, but I'll talk about it here.
Mhm.
Is the teacher, Keating, was like, everybody step outside. Okay, now walk in a circle, all three of you together. And then they end up walking together, perfectly in line, right?
Mhm.
And then he's like, this is what it is like to, be like everybody else. And it's not the word compromise. What is the word?
Conformity.
Conformity. So they're conforming, and he's like, walk however you want. He's like, this is the lesson I'm trying to teach you, is you can be yourself and have your own unique thoughts, walk your own walk, and live your life the way that you want to live your life. And I thought that was so beautiful, and I was like, that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Not me flashing back to QB this is my pace. You will match it. And I was like, all right.
When did I say that to you? Was it at the mall?
Yeah, it was right after the Brazilian steakhouse. You were like, this is my pace. You will match it. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Because you walk too fast, and I was full.
He does walk fast.
Him and Sky both walk
That's-
really fast.
Because that's how we walk.
Gotta keep up.
That's our pace of life.
Listen, I like to do a leisure stroll. I like to really take in the scenery, take in life, take in the moment.
The fashion show mall. That's the scenery. That's the moment.
Okay, well in that moment I was full.
Okay.
Every
I'm
other
only middle
moment,
one. I'm like, I was slow walking whenever I was in the French Quarter, because that's architecture.
see, because you were taking it in, baby.
But also you were
Yeah.
enjoying.
See,
Yes, exactly.
living in the moment.
Yeah.
That's what I do every day of my life. That's why I walk slow. And that is the only reason, not because of any other reasons.
Not because
I
I
do
was
also-
not because I was filled with 3 pounds of meat.
Not because I'm a brick
I
house
do
or
also
anything.
want to say that I know we were just talking about the girl Knox pursuing a girl. That was Lara Flynn Boyle, I think, and
Really?
she was blonde. I think, yeah.
Was that? Okay.
I mean, yeah, and she was also in Twin Peaks. The end
Who
going.
was Gail Hansen?
I don't believe that to be true. Twin Peaks.
Oh, then that might not be her. Well, Lara Flynn Boyle was in it. She was probably one of the cigarette smoking girls in the cave, or she was the other girl. But I'm like, why would they put her in such a meager role?
You just wanted to talk about Twin Peaks. Yeah, she was one of the other girls.
Sure did.
Oh, Gail Hansen was Dalton. Charlie Dalton.
The blondie gal. Not Lara Flynn Boyle popping up in my movie.
Not you bringing up fucking David Lynch in our podcast yet again.
I sure did. Even earlier off camera, we were talking about Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah,
Anyway.
So fucking Charlie Dalton, who is me, he's a big meathead. Stupid Charlie Dalton publishes an article in the school newspaper under Dead Poet Society, the company name, suggesting that girls be admitted to the school. And of course they all get in trouble, like the whole school gets in trouble about it. So now Dead Poet Society and Keating is on the admin's radar some more. And as punishment, Dalton gets paddled, which was... It was that's it.
I just want to know how many times he got paddled. That was so excessive. And also why?
But he ain't no snitch, though. He's like,
He's like, don't forget, my name's Nawanda.
And they're like, boy. Okay, so
YAWP.
that is the name he chose for himself as his cool club name. Whatever. His drag persona.
I honestly thought it was about to be like a drag thing.
God, I wish. If I could remake this movie, I would. And just really...
Oh my god, I'd actually
really ham
make
it up.
I'd make it gay out loud.
Let's get loud. Anyway. So, whatever. No one, he's no snitch. Knox is, getting the girl. That's fun and all. And Neil is sticking to the play, but unfortunately his dad, who was Red Foreman from that 70s show, his dad, who is a big giant asshole, finds out that he's in the play and he demands that he quit. Thoughts on the big giant asshole of a dad?
Oh, so much. It comes from such a terrible, it's one of those things, and people even to this day still deal with that, where oh, I didn't have the opportunities you have, so don't squander this, blah 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 blah. But the boy's really passionate about things, and he's smart. It's not like he's just fucking around or anything.
Straight A's.
He's getting straight A's, and he wanted to do so. At the beginning, he wanted to do the school annual, which was basically the yearbook. Which honestly, school annual is a lot nicer sounding than yearbook. But he basically wanted to do the yearbook at the beginning of the year, and his dad was like, "No, you're not going to do the yearbook. I don't care." And now he wants to do acting, which is even more passe. And
it's the arts, which is very coded to be the more queer stuff.
Unless you were a.
I think it was just poor. I think his problem was
man.
he was just being poor.
I mean,
that's the reason the dad doesn't like it. But we under the queer lens know also that this is stuff that isn't traditionally particularly masculine. And we can also read it as that. It's oh, well, not only is my boy doing things that are taking away from his path as a doctor, but also these things are as you said, passe.
Yeah, I thought that it was just messed up. I know you have plans for me and stuff, but you didn't ever consider once what I wanted to do. And stupidly enough, I was watching this stupid little anime that's very cute and it's on Netflix. And there's this hardcore looking kid, and he befriends the school bully who's a tiny girl. Anyway, his dad walked out on him and his mom. He didn't know that. He thought he was just a deadbeat dad, and he left when she got pregnant and stuff. And and the mom was trying to raise him all good. She's get good grades. And then he's I don't think I want to go to college. And she's go to college. Don't worry. I don't want you to find the job. Let me work for you. And so even though she was doing something nice, which I think this Red Foreman dad character was trying to be nice, he was still pushing his wishes on his kid. And it's like he's punishing him for not taking the opportunities that he wished that he could have. That's great and all, but, you know, time and time again, I think about, like, kids don't ask to be here. They just are born unless the parents really, really want them. I don't know what his situation was, but it clearly he was not as well off as the other kids he was palling around with. And to be forced to do something, I think he said, like, 10 more years, like, that's medical school and shit. That's a fucking lot on a kid who doesn't even have any problems. Like, he's getting good grades. He was doing a lot of extracurriculars. I just don't see what the problem is. Yeah. But I mean, I guess, you know, for the
That's why I was like, I don't get it. He's doing really well. Why not let him do what he wants to do?
But,
you know,
toxic masculinity at its finest. And also parenting.
Elitism.
Hard parenting.
Also, like, trauma. Because it's like, well, we didn't grow up with that stuff, so now we're pushing this on you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You should be grateful.
Right?
Yeah. So, Neil, after his dad finds out, he goes to Keating because he doesn't know what to do, and Keating's like everyone's mentor figure. And Keating's like, no, you're like, stand your ground, tell him how you feel. You know, he wasn't saying like deliberately disobey him, do it anyway. He was telling him
talk to him. Like,
no,
he was telling him open up a dialogue. Open up a dialogue with your dad.
Communicate, which is a good, solid advice. But for the time, not great. But Neil does that, and his dad does not react well, but he lets him do the play. We see Neil be Puck from Midsummer's Night Dream, which is also a very gay character, and I don't think that is a coincidence. He was beautiful, a shining star, a shining action star.
The whole gang showed up. Even Little Miss Knox with his girl pal, who's like, I don't even care about you, and then he's like, you wouldn't be here and warning me if you didn't care about me. And she's like, oh my god,
you're so infuriating.
I was like, shut the fuck up.
It's like, you love me, you know, you love me.
XOXO. Yeah, everyone was there. Girl. Keating and the boys were there to support him, and Dad shows up, and we all thought that he was going to be super impressed at Neil's awesome acting.
I know.
That was not.
Yes.
Test results show that was not the case.
I know. As soon as he was in the background, and I think, you know, even Neil saw him, and he was like, you know, putting his whole pussy into this role. It was incredible. And everybody was congratulating him, and he was the center of attention. And then the teacher comes by, and she's like, your dad wants to talk to you. And we're like, oh no. And so he takes him outside, and he's like, I'm taking him home. It's like a fucking snowy ass evening. It's like particularly cold in temperature, but also in vibes. And he's like, we're going to withdraw you from Welton, and you're going to be enrolled into a military academy. As soon as they get home, that's how he lays it down. And it was so sad not to see Mom, like, put up more of a fight for him. Like, Neil, like, I thought he was also going to put up more of a fight. His dad staunchly was like, no. And then he was like, okay. And it hurt a lot. And, you know, like, he spends most of his time at this, like, I feel like it's a boarding school too.
Yeah.
Prep/boarding school.
I live there.
And so for him to come home and like be at home with his parents and stuff, like, the vibes are just not good. And he makes the choice, and this is why we were all upsetty spaghetti, because he decides to unalive himself. And it's really sad because, you know, like, that was the last time he was going to take it and take it lying down. And it was so beautiful and artistic the way that it was happening. But I think as soon as we saw, like, the key open the drawer,
we were like,
not good vibes. And so I started crying at that point. I don't know if this is the point, Antonio, where you started crying too.
No, okay. Actually, so the first point that, and we kind of glossed over it, I don't think we touched base on it very heavily, but it's when he first joins the play, and Todd's kind of naysaying him. And
that conversation.
But Neil is just so happy, and then he's like, God, can I just enjoy the idea for a while? And I was like, oh, that's so sad. I haven't even gotten the part yet. Can I just enjoy the idea for a while? And I was like, oh, that is so sad. And that's the first point. I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry a little bit.
Antonio,
And
what
I was
a
like,
sweet moment.
Poor baby. poor baby is passionate about something and he's getting like naysayed, and he understands. And what's the saddest part is he's cognizant of the possibility of him not getting it or like it not working out for him, but he just wants to be like happy about it anyways for a little while. And it's just like
He lives
so
in
brave.
the reality and positivity.
Yeah, but like in a realistic way, and just like it's just just trying to go forward sort of situation. And number 2 is the very last scene. That's
we'll
the second
to.
time I started crying. That, like, honestly, as shitty as probably is to say, all of like the trauma or like the unaliving goes or everything like that, I was like, oh, that's sad, but I didn't start crying until the end.
That's the subtleties that always get you.
Yeah, it's the heavy subtleties.
Yeah, I didn't during the scene where he is, doing the act. I didn't get upset. I didn't get upset till the friends find out, and Ethan Hawke has that moment where he reacts and processes that. Then did I cry? Ethan fucking acted his pussy off as usual. Ethan Hawke, you can come on this podcast anytime.
Not a lot of words, but damn, did it feed? She ate.
She shined. You were waiting for him to shine.
I was waiting for a while. I was like, I don't super care for his character for a little while until the monologue that we touched base on. Not the monologue.
The chaos scene where
the chaotic
poetry.
Here's the assignment. Y'all have to read your own poetry out loud. And I know this fucking frightens you, Todd Anderson, aka Ethan Hawke. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. That scene is where I was like, oh, he's coming
here.
To his own.
He's arrived.
He's here. He's actually arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Hawke.
So after Neil passes away, his death is investigated at the parents' request.
Which fuck the parents.
I hated that. I'm like, why?
You know why this happened.
You know why.
You know because it was you, but you're just looking for a scapegoat. And they know already about like Keating's effect on the students and everything like that, and how his views are like kind of shifting theirs and helping them to grow their own ideals and everything like that. And so Cameron, who not the one I thought was going to be the one earlier, I thought it was going to be Pitts because he was the one who was like most hesitant. You know how the one that's always scared is always the first to fold. It wasn't.
Or even Meeks, but Meeks came through. He never once faltered.
Well, I would never have pegged Meeks.
I was like, everyone like walks all over him, and I'm like, maybe in the last moment.
What are you talking about? He's the genius. They all worship his.
They all call him. They keep calling him that slur that we don't use anymore. And then it's like, yeah, put your coat down. And he's like, okay. He just like does anything they say.
I thought they like worship him because Meeks was like the genius, and they're all like, "Oh, he's the genius." It's why we like ask him for help with tutoring and everything like that.
I would say,
you know what?
Yes,
I wasn't.
I also got the feeling that he was a core member of the team. Like Pitts,
honestly, they probably wouldn't
member.
be there. Like exactly. So
Yeah.
when Pitts was hesitant, I was like, "Oh, Pitts is the fucker. He's the one. This is all gonna go to shit because of Pitts." It wasn't Pitts. It was Cameron, who
the rat bastard.
I don't even know what his storyline was.
It wasn't.
He was just some new guy who was like, hey, can I study with you guys? And then beautiful, gorgeous Neil is like, oh, but of course you can join our study group. Hey, fellas, is it okay that I ask Cameron to join? And they're like, yeah, it's okay, Neil.
Everyone loves Neil.
Shining star.
Everyone loves Neil. They did him so fucking dirty.
They did him so dirty. But Cameron basically tells them, like, yeah, I'm going to talk to admin because it's, we got to let Keating take the fall. It's his fault for, like, this whole thing. And all the boys are like, no, it's not. That's fucking bullshit. And they all...
Todd especially is like, no, that's not true at all. He didn't do anything. Like,
Who threw themselves at Cameron? There
Dalton.
was a punch.
Dalton.
Nuwanda.
I'm so sorry, Nuwanda.
Nuwanda punched Cameron and furthermore gets expelled because afterwards... they all signed this statement and everything like that. But we already knew that Charlie, the artist formerly known as Charlie Dalton,
that's better,
is a problem child because He's done a couple of bits. He's written the story and posted it in the newspaper. Then he pulls a bit when they're all in the assembly and getting yelled at. He's like, he does this thing with the telephone, and it's like, oh, it's for you, sir. It's God. He's saying girls should be allowed at Welton.
And everyone went, what?
Hear that one, boy? Yup.
Yeah. And then, so he's the only one that gets expelled. And the rest of them all sign, even though they know it's not true at all. It's even to save their butts. They know. And Todd even does it.
They don't want to, but, you know, again, they're under all this pressure from their parents and from admin. This is the life they've known, so.
Can't rock the boat
just
anymore.
Sad to see. It was sad to see them fold. I really thought that they were going to be like, no. I thought that Todd was going to be the one to say no because he was the last one. But when Nolan, put the paper across the table and he's like, your friends already signed it. Like, just do it. And the way the parents reacted to Todd, too, he's like, the dad was like, I'm fucking tired of being here. Like, just fucking sign it and let us get out of here. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And these are the same parents that gave Todd the same present 2 years in a row. That he already
Which I wanted to talk about. That's where we get the gay, like, they must love each other scene. Or the most gay. They must love each other scene.
There was a lot of cute Neil
Todd
but, like,
so much.
It pained me so much that happened. Like, truly, I think the word you used is forcibly, Ketzel, and that's exactly what happened. And these are young boys at the prime of their, like, you know, careers and stuff. Like, if they fuck up now, they're basically ruining any chance of getting into the schools they want to, etc., etc. So, fucking old world, antiquated bullshit like that just drives me nuts. Like, I get the history, but I'm just like, how about we just break some traditions and make some new ones?
Let's talk about Neil and Todd more a little bit. That scene when Neil encourages him to throw away the gift across
the whole bit of it. So let me paint a picture. Snowy evening. Neil, happy-go-lucky, sees Todd just sitting down on the ground outside. And Todd goes, it's my birthday today. And Neil, in like just good friend fashion. Such a sweet boy. Oh, it's your birthday? Happy birthday, man. And so they reveal his present from his parents, which is a desk set. You know, just like a mat, some pens, paperweights, all the things you would need on a desk. Only this is the second desk set in 2 years. And Neil pulls this like super charming, cute thing where he's like, you know, something about this desk set. You know, if I was going to buy one twice, or if I was going to get one twice, it would be this one. But this one feels special. It feels aerodynamic. And so Todd, like, hurls it. And it's just such a Bondy moment. He just yops it over the fucking, like, side.
It's true.
Is that the name of this episode?
It's YAWP, baby.
YAWP.
And there's a lot of little moments between them, which is, again, why you...
Oh, my God.
If you read this with a queer lens, there's so much more... Again, we fall into the trope of kill your gays, but it does give so much more weight to Neil's death of, like... First of all, he's a beautiful character. That was a meaningful
relationship
and
that they had.
Especially when Todd is reacting to it, there's so much more heaviness there because they had a very, like, beautiful relationship.
I do want to say my favorite part that they had.
Go for it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. So their part was when they were like, he was like, what are you writing there? Like, is that your poem? And then he like yanks it and then they start chasing each other in their teeny tiny little room. This is another moment of the camera like spinning and showing the chaos. But then it's not just them. Then, you know, some of the rest of the gang shows up and they're all jumping on the little beds running around. They don't even know why they're running around anymore. And it was just such a cute little moment that happened. And I was like,
these boys.
Beautiful little lad shit.
At first we're like, these entitled boys, and then at the end we're like, oh, the boys. Our boys.
I was always on Neil's side. Don't you get that twisted.
What were you going to say about parallels?
I want to know if there are parallels between this and Kill Your Darlings, because I feel like that was also a homoerotic one. Actually, I think that was like out loud homoerotic.
Because I think Allen Ginsberg was like bi or something, wasn't he? Or gay.
I'm not entirely sure. You know, all these like
he's
old English
American writer and poet. One of the big ones.
All these old American writers, like the big ones, they always have like some sort of like internalized homophobia or like some sort of
Did you
rumor
say
attached.
Ginsburg, like the poet?
Yeah, Ginsburg.
Oh, okay. I know Ginsburg then.
I'm not familiar. I actually don't know
Took me aback.
anything about Kill Your
Oh,
Darlings
he was
is
gay,
about,
yeah.
aside.
Good for him.
Sar cute.
No, we're talking about Ginsburg. So Keating is fired. And Nolan, the admin, who's kind of in charge of, the whole shebang, takes over teaching the English class. When it's old, very traditional, regimented ways. And Keating, in the final scene, the fated final scene, he comes into the classroom while the kids are all miserable. And he needs to get his stuff from the back of the room, and he does. And so begins the fated "Oh Captain, My Captain" scene.
I mean, you gotta weigh it in with a little more context because they were reading the same lesson that they started the beginning of the year with.
Yeah, because
and they were doing it straight from the book.
Yep, they were like, "Well, what part are we on in the book?" And they're like, "We skipped around a lot because Keating was not going to use the book. He was like, fuck." Critical lens on poetry. Poetry is feeling. Poetry is art. Poetry is the way of life. So like he had them like rip up like the book.
Yeah, they're like, he's like 10 to page 21, and then they're like, we don't even have page 21 anymore. And then he's like, anyone?
We're like,
and
no.
then he was like, fine, just read my book. And then as he was leaving the office or the classroom, Mr. Todd Anderson.
Who was very upset, and he's like, hey, before you leave, like, we signed that because we were forced to. We know it wasn't you. And Nolan's really upset. He's like, sit down, like, one more outburst, and, you'll get expelled. And Keating's like, no, I know, it's fine. And then as he's coming out, our good sis Todd Anderson gets up and stands on the table and says, "Oh, Captain, my captain," because that is what Keating had told them to call him in the beginning of the movie. And then all the boys start getting up on their desk and saying, "Oh, Captain, my
all
captain."
the ones that had balls.
All the ones that were ride or dies. All of them, as Keating tears up, even though he has to leave, he knows that these boys...
That he made an impact
on these boys.
them.
And
that
I
was the point.
Sobbing.
Me too. Fucking
It was
dead.
gorgeous.
I was crying. Like my like face was very wet.
I was,
and that's a lot for me,
like,
guys.
Yeah. A lot of emotions this year for you, Antonio.
I know, now we finally know why they stood on top of the desks, and it was well worth
beautiful. Guys, if this is the only scene you know from you could have no idea how beautiful and meaningful it is.
Oh, the build up for that scene.
So good. And
and
it ends with just Keating saying, "Thanks, boys." And then it ends. Oh, and I got chills all over again. And then I continued sobbing through the end credits, and me and Dolly got on video chat, and we were both sobbing. While Antonio smoked outside and cried.
I had to go take a moment by myself for a little while.
You're like, I need a minute. Make that 2.
Make it 10. I'm going to go find something to do while I finish this up.
Oh, good God. But yeah, so good.
Thoughts?
Thoughts
on the whole movie?
Love the movie.
Love the movie. Can you believe?
10s across the board. I can't believe that I can't believe that, more people don't just, make other people watch this. I really can't. I'm going to say that again because I was looking away from my mic. I can't believe people are not, dragging people into their homes and making people watch this.
I didn't think this is where we'd be. I thought we'd be like, oh, that was overhyped. Absolutely not.
Me
Absolutely
too.
not.
Oh, my God. There is not enough love for this movie in the world.
There's a reason why it was on that 100 list of movies you need to watch before you die. I'm so glad that I was so totally wrong. I am so pleased by that. I also wish, younger me could have seen this when she was in high school and appreciated it a little bit then, because I think little sensitive me would have loved that. But even now in my almost 30 age, I appreciate it so much more for, a film and what it is, but also drawing back on my teenage feelings. So, yeah, so beautiful, gorgeous. Love her.
Loved her. That's
Love her. Definitely going to be one of my favorite movies for a little while.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, unexpected love. This is what this podcast is about, guys.
I love finding new things about myself.
Truly. It was great. I don't know what to say, man. Like, there's not very much of this. There's some things that don't age well, but not very much. Like, for the most part, this is solid.
This is a solid movie. Like, honestly, you can, like, just, like, pin it to, like, oh, this is that time
from
frame.
89. Yeah, but, like, like, these ideas of, like, and yeah, it's like, oh, well, it's like all these entitled white boys, sure. But, like, it speaks to this level of, like, adolescence and, like, breaking away from conformity that, like, as teenagers,
it's
I
just
think would
a
really
coming
enjoy.
of age film.
Yeah, I just would really enjoy to have seen. And, like, it is sad, and it gives so much more weight with the queer lens, and just in general, just for the fucking acting alone. Like, it's just going into hot cast. Robin Williams is fucking magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anybody's.
I was
like
like
hot,
spellbound the entire
definitely
time.
Solid cast.
Any
like,
monologue, I'm like,
spellbound.
wow, Robin.
And you would think, because I think this was 89, so this was like pretty much at like the peak of his just career as a comedian. And then like I don't know if it was this movie or something else, but like people, I don't know if it was him either, but it seems to me like when comedians break out into being actors, people don't take them so seriously, because you're like, you're the funny guy, how are you supposed to be serious? But like, my God, like he played it so beautifully. And even when he was silly, he was really just making a point of like learning lessons and like engaging his students like as the character. Like that was so charming and was not like over the top. It was just enough to make it so that it's digestible for people to understand. Like he's making like funny little voices and pretending to be actors that I know to like resonate with me, the student. And then as a watcher, you're like, this is fantastic. Like this is kind of the Robin Williams I expected to see, but I'm so glad I saw so much more. Is this what it feels like to watch Uncut Gems?
Yes, for Adam Sandler. Yeah, because I don't like Adam Sandler's comedy, but I saw that and I said, boy, you got some acting chops.
There you go.
I will say also, I grew up on Robin Williams in the household through the two weirdest movies that no one else likes. I grew up watching a lot of Patch Adams, and then one of my father's favorite fucking films is Bicentennial Man, which
I don't know any of those.
Yep, because they don't have good reviews. They single-handedly don't have good reviews, but they're both Robin Williams films that I love because my father just played them constantly.
There's one where he's supposed to be scary. Like,
scary?
What is it? It's something about photos.
I don't know what that is.
It was. I know that there is, because whenever I'm on Reddit, people are like, "Oh, you should see Robin Williams as blah 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 in something about photos." And he's like, it's like a creepy role for him.
I'll look this up. Also, the two films I just mentioned have under 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, just so you know.
1 hour photo.
1 hour photo.
Oh, that sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I keep hearing it. It's a psychological thriller film.
But, I mean, for me, I was introduced to
good.
Robin Williams as like,
we'll watch it.
I mean, Aladdin for sure, because
I mean that's like
I also
the only
didn't
one.
I didn't watch SNL or anything until later
Flubber?
in my life, and it wasn't until
Oh, I did watch Flubber.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't
like it because it was weird.
I can't believe
it was like Green Little
I've
Monster
seen
Men.
a lot of Robin Williams films, I'm realizing. I think I really
did
grew
watch
up with him.
Flubber. I watched Aladdin a lot.
Oh, maybe Mrs. Doubtfire.
I didn't. I did not.
We watched that.
I did not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, like,
magnetic.
He was wonderful and amazing. Just love to see you. Appreciate your work. Miss you.
Love you.
Love you.
And the whole cast was good. All the teenage actors, Ethan Hawke including, were fabulous actors.
I did not even recognize Mr. Ethan Hawke at all in this
He's
movie.
such a baby.
Like the first 20
A
minutes,
child.
I don't even. And I was looking up articles actually, like Ethan Hawke in this movie, and because I wanted to see his face and be like, wait, I think maybe that was just him that I saw. And there was an article that said like Ethan Hawke's kids don't even recognize him in that movie because he doesn't look like himself.
I've seen him when,
and I thought that was so funny.
I saw him in a rom-com Before Sunrise or something like that, and he looks older than this, but he definitely looks like a baby. So I was like, Ethan, baby.
Him.
Robert Sean Leonard, honey, you're everything to us. I'm very sorry. We did you dirty. You were amazing. Thank you.
You were amazing.
Yeah. And Gail Hansen, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I don't know more of your work. Like, amazing.
Sorry.
Everyone. Amazing work, everyone.
Everyone. Great work, everyone. Great work.
Soundtrack/score. Very 80s.
I know you said it at some point, and I was like, yeah. I was enjoying it. And the Scottish bagpipes.
It was a very 80s score. Like, when they're walking to the cave where they have their society meetings, it's very 80s spooky, almost like Stranger Thingsy vibe, or just like that.
Yeah, it did have a Stranger Thingsy vibe. That's what it was.
Very
yeah, you were saying
ambiance.
that, and I was like,
Yes.
80s ambiance.
Agree. Like the sounds, like the songs that they were able to put in there. And also the little tune that Robin Williams was whistling as he was walking. Yeah. Which was very cool.
Costume design, set location, YAWP.
Very,
Vermont.
yeah.
Wow.
Just very apropos.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Very Abercrombie.
Love the snow.
Love snow.
Love the snow.
Love
love
snow.
the
Love
love
that
the
work.
fall weather. If you told me
Winter?
it was Vermont, I would say, oh yeah, that's Vermont.
You know what else Robin Williams is in that we have not mentioned? Jumanji.
I saw
fools.
Jumanji.
Oop, fools.
Robin Williams is my childhooder. Point blank. Yeah.
Lovely.
It's very Northwest. Very the dorm, the prep school, very upper crust New England boarding school, very that. Bad haircuts all around.
Oh,
I didn't hate them.
certainly,
Very
absolutely
preppy,
bad
though.
haircuts all
Very
around.
preppy.
Just like very preppy haircuts. That's just
You
all
got-
it was.
You got money and they cut your hair like that.
Oh, you got money.
I don't know. I don't know how you expected their hair to look in the 50s.
That's true.
Slicked
Cow licked.
or buzz cut.
Buzz cut or slicked? Those are both signs of, I think, poor.
I don't know.
In the 50s for prep school? I mean, like, if it's slicked back and it's like a greaser look, then you're clearly not washing your hair, or you don't have...
No, like good boy hair.
Yeah, like the Mormon haircut.
Parted to the side. With a nice little fade.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Just kidding, they didn't do that then.
But just cut in the back.
They did
yeah.
do fades.
But you know what I mean, like that, like good boy. The good boy hair.
Good boy hair.
Like, gelled and everything?
Yes, that's what we mean.
Heavily
Anyways.
gelled.
This was filmed in Delaware, near Wilmington, which is not that far from here. It's
Oh.
also northwest. Sorry, northwest. No, northeast.
Mhm.
Okay. Favorite quotes.
I have one, but I need to scroll.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I mean, that's a good one. I like it. I'm happy to accept it for you.
No, there's I think Nolan at some point calls the boys the phalanx of prepubescence or some shit like that. I'm like, the
Yeah,
fuck?
you horrible phalanx of prepubescence.
I'm like,
Of pubescence.
I'm like,
Yes.
boy,
Like, that was a fucking lot.
that was a lot.
That's some work. Someone knows their English.
Any Robin Williams
True.
monologue, beautiful.
Fantastic. Amazing.
Definitely the be yourself monologue, march to the beat of your own drum. I like this moment, and maybe it was before they got, or maybe it was the same scene when they were both in the dorm, Neil and Todd, and they were talking. Oh, I think it was right at the time that you first cried, Antonio, when he was like an actor, right? And then he's like, why do you want to like keep pushing the envelope? Like, you don't have to do it. Like, I don't want to do that. And, or something like that. Todd was saying something like that. Like, why I don't want to change. I wish I got what he said. But what Neil said to him was like, don't you think you could be like, to the effect of something like he should let loose? Like, don't you think you could be happy? Like, you could let yourself. And I thought that was like so sad because
there-
like we knew that Todd was still reserved at that time. He hadn't broken out of his shell just yet, but it was like upsetting because, you know, I don't think he even knew his place. Like,
I was still emotionally distraught, but I think there's a line after that, and I need to rewatch it, but they like something, or Todd asks Neil a question, and I have no idea what that question is because I'm still like kind of sad. I was like, oh my god, this is so touching and so sad. And then Neil looks at me and he's like, no, like that's not the right answer. It's like the answer everyone wants to hear, but it's like no one ever says it. And he's like, no. So I need to go rewatch this pretty much immediately after we record and see exactly what happened.
It was pretty. It's one of those very gay moments.
it was one of.
It was a very flirty game.
Don't you think you should stop?
Oh yeah, something like that. He's like, no.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of like that.
Bro.
It's kind of like terrible. Like, you know, can you respect my boundaries? No. But like in the like the right way sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
If
because
there
he's
is
trying
a
to
right
push
way.
him out of his shell. You
Yeah,
know?
and he's like, no.
But
it's like sweet, and it's so well meaning and intentioned, and he knows exactly, like, you know, I think he knows where to start and stop. Neil is just such a shining character of a human.
Truly good boy.
Like, truly.
Perfect shining boy.
So,
folks, was this worth the hype? And do we regret not having
oh
seen this?
my god.
Yes, and yes to everything.
Yes to everything, and it does not have enough hype. Not enough.
I agree. Truly not enough hype for this movie. I feel like I missed it. I think I said a little bit of that before we started. Because I'm like, I think I could have watched this several different times in my life, and it would have hit me in several different ways. And I think this is definitely a movie I would love for if, like when I have my kids, if they're interested, or like, you know, if they're falling.
God. Show this to any teenager.
A ways
like,
away.
Hey.
It was so beautiful and so touching and so, I don't know, just great. It was a beautiful film. I regret not having seen it sooner, but now I will be one of those people that's like, oh my god, you haven't seen Dead Poets Society? Oh my god, you're so crazy. Like, I just can't believe it. That's me.
I also
like, you want to watch it?
Right? Also, like,
you got 2 hours?
I was gonna say, going on the 2 hours, I didn't really feel like it needed to be trimmed anywhere.
Nope. It was perfect. That was my fear going into this, remember?
Yeah.
There was no like point where I was like, oh, this is dragging a bit, or I'm bored, blah 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 blah. There were parts where I was like kind of cringing. There was like a moment when
for sure.
there was some cringe going on, but it just continues. It just adds to the story. It's just so well done.
It adds to the characterization of the boys and their friendship. Like, they're very believable camaraderie. And they're together in all these cringy situations.
And there are like characters that I wish they had developed a little bit more, or just like, you know, there's like 3 storylines that I can think of. 4? Yeah, no, 3 storylines for the boys, and there are other boys there, but they just don't touch base on them. Like Meeks doesn't get enough like character development, I think, and then Pitts has a little bit, but not a ton.
Cameron's just a snitch.
I'm so confused about
Fucking
Cameron. Like,
snitch,
I honestly, I was like, I don't even remember when you came in. I just thought you were one of the cool kids.
Who put you in here?
Can I be honest? Sometimes I confuse Knox and Dalton, and I was like,
oh, me too. Me too. They look very similar.
Oh, that is very yeah. If we could redo this movie, we're gonna give them a little bit more difference.
I mean, the one thing that set me off, though, that really separated them for me was that non-consensual forehead kiss, and I will leave it at that.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I was like, this is an SVU episode.
Yeah, waiting to happen, you said.
Back up.
And go ahead.
This is off topic. When I went to the zoo with the kids, I asked that we all take a picture like the teachers, and the kids said that we were cringe. And I think in that moment, I became old. I'm like, it's just a picture. We're just taking a picture. And they're like, that's so cringe. And I'm like, the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I remember when I thought young teachers were really, really young when they were like 21. And I'm just like, you shouldn't even be allowed to teach, really. But I guess.
That is a little young. That's very young. I think anyone younger than like 25 is a young teacher.
I had a 25-year-old teacher, I think in like the 4th or 5th grade.
I'm less cringe because they're so little, but I guess taking a fucking picture was too much for them.
You're cringe in general, but man,
I'm like,
the picture.
out of that, I'm like, I do so much more whack shit that's what you're calling me cringe for? Okay. We can't all be. We can't all. They're fucking ridiculous. We can't all be Robin Williams.
That concludes this episode of Sit Down, Loser. We're watching a movie. We'll catch you next time. Bye,
Bye,
losers.
losers.
YAWP.
To put on a rope because I'm not wearing pants.
Ketzel.
Oh, I want to join the Pantsless Club. Ooh, actually, you know what?
Take him off. Take him off.
I don't want them to come
Dahlia,
down.
take off your pants.
Are we doing that? I'll do it if
Yeah,
Dahlia
do it.
does it.
There you go.
Do
I'll be back.
Do I have to show you if they're off?
No. Well, you can just hold up your pants.
Did you guys take off your pants?
Ketzel, the people are listening.
And?
I'll take off my pants for you.
Thank you. God.
I have to
You're
close
not going
the
to
window.
see.
I'm going to close the window then.
Yay.
Oh, my God. Pants are the enemy.
Pants are
Dead Pants Society. Name the episode.
Name it, cowards.
Pants drop. Just kidding. I might actually just change into like some sweatpants or something afterwards. You can see my knee.
I see my thigh. Welcome to our OnlyFans. Hey!
Hey.
The pants are off.
Dead Pants Society.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I really do need to go put on sweats after this, though. But
Oh, I said the same
Anyway.
thing.